Welcome to None of the Above. My name is Steve Nemirovsky and I'm your host. None of the Above is a political program where we examine the causes of dysfunction and polarization in our political system and in our government. And on each show, hopefully try to offer some solution sets that will help get us back to a better balance with respect to both of these. In our last show, our last sequence of shows, we talked about the impact of redistricting. We're going to shift our focus today. We're going to talk about lack of civility. I've been in government and politics a good chunk of my career now. I think those of you that have seen prior shows know that I still lobby. And one of the things I miss is the civility that used to be part of the discourse. There used to be a time where even no matter how polarized things were, there was a level of discourse, functionality, compromise that was part of the system, and somewhere along the line we lost that. In Illinois, I think we lost it about 10 or 12 years ago. That's where I do my lobbying. At the congressional level, some people would suggest we started to lose it in the 90s. But regardless, it's just not there anymore. And it's hard to solve problems when you lack that civility, when you lack the camaraderie, the ability to get together and compromise. And I'm very concerned about this. I'm very concerned about the tone of the dialogue. I'm very concerned about the language that's used. Of late, people particularly on media and television shows, try to go out of their way to prove if a politician has not spoken the exact truth. And in many cases, they say that they're lying. This is an example, I think, of language that I never would have expected to see. There is a certain amount of finesse in the language of politics. People may misspeak. But I don't think anyone's intent is ever to misrepresent and to lie, to deliberately misrepresent and to lie. If you're a politician nowadays and there's always a microphone in front of you, always a camera on you, you're going to make a mistake. I make mistakes daily. I'm sure all of us misspeak at least once a day when we meant to say something one way and it came out another way. It doesn't necessarily mean we were lying. It just means in the heat of battle, in the context of the situation, whatever, we misspoke. And we move on, or we say we're sorry. We seem to have lost that. And again, particularly where the media is concerned. One of the things I've talked about in many shows is the fact that the internet, I think, is the greatest engine for democracy we've had, in over 200 years. But at the same time, the internet drives an instant need for news, and there is instant news, and the facts aren't checked. And I think what's happened is the media, the television media, the radio media, they're trying to keep up with this. And everyone's trying to be sensational. Everyone's trying to draw an audience. And I think when they try and be sensational, that they step back from the civility and enter into a land of a lack of civility. And I think that spills over to the conversation in the political world as well. I think each feeds on each other. So we're going to start a two-part series today. And I thought, what better way to do that but to have the head of the Democratic Party here in Pitkin County present on one show and have the head of the Republican Party present on another show. And when we're done with both shows, we'll see if we can come away with some notions of how we can get back to more civility, more ability to talk and solve problems together. One of the areas where I think dysfunction has shown itself to be proven and the lack of civility has been very apparent is in discussions that have been present regarding our federal budget and our federal deficit. So in the context of our conversations about civility, what we're going to do is drill down a bit and talk about the debt and talk about the budget so that we understand what these processes are about and how these processes can be impacted by this dysfunction and this polarization. We may not have solutions for you, although the good news is for the first time in a long time, we actually have an operating federal budget. We haven't had that in a while, and that's a good thing. So throughout these two shows on civility, we're going to spend some time examining the federal budget and the debt structure, and hopefully you come away with a much better understanding of how the system should work and could work, and hopefully will work.